I've been using the noblechairs icon and hero chairs literally every day for so long that my original reviews of the icon and epic series still had intros in them. Seriously, who has time for intros anymore? Anyway, in layman's terms, that's over 4 years, and most of that time is spent in my faux leather hero, which is actually held up remarkably well, showing signs of basically no wear, still feels as good as new. But there is one problem with both of those models actually, and it's a problem that's not specific to them, but to all of the leather and faux leather chairs, seats, and really anything that your skin touches, and that's that it gets really kind of sticky and nasty, especially when you're hot and sweaty, which, considering these are meant to be gaming chairs, is kind of a given. Enter the Hero TX, a fabric gaming chair that I really like. Now, the Hero model I have here isn't the only new fabric chair they're offering. They launched a full line of TX series, which includes the Hero, the Icon, and the Epic series. So depending on which sort of size and shape is your preference, you can pick one of those up, and they're priced the same as the faux leather model, so you're not paying any premium for a shiny new one or a premium for having faux leather instead. Otherwise, as far as I can tell, the models like this Hero are pretty similar, if not identical, to the standard leather and faux leather options. But there are some nuances to this sort of fabric version, and so I'm going to be reviewing it with the assumption that you haven't already seen my review of the standard version of the Hero. So let's jump into it, starting with the unboxing and build experience. They pack their chairs pretty well, and so you're really unlikely to get any level of shipping damage on any of the components, and you'll be happy to know that at least in the UK they do not use Hermes or Yodel, because if they did, they would still find a way to destroy literally anything you give to them, no matter how well packaged it is. With that said, as you get stuff out of the box, you'll find obviously the components of the chair, specifically the star base, the seat base, as well as an arm, side arm pre-attached and the other one loose off to the side, the seat bag, a box full of all of the accessories like the caster wheels, the bolts that you'll need to install it, and even the gas lift, also the tilt mechanism, and you also get a rather nice instructional booklet with diagrams or images to show you how to get all of this set up. And of course, the head and lumbar support pillows too. Getting this built is pretty easy. It does take a bit of time and some manual labor, but it's nice and quick. The first thing I do is get the star base set up with all of the caster wheels pushed into the holes on the end of each arm, then drop the gas cylinder down into the center along with its sliding plastic cover. I then attach the other armrest that doesn't come pre-attached by removing the 3 bolts that come in the base and just putting them on and putting them through the slots in the armrest and screwing them back down. I'm using a 3/8 ratchet and a 5mm hex or Allen bit here, and also occasionally a Ryobi impact driver to speed things up, and because I'm sort of partially physically disabled, and so it's nice for me to have an easier way to do things. But they do include an Allen key that doubles as a Phillips head screwdriver in the toolkit along with the spare bolts, so that you can get all of this set up nice and easy and you don't need any extra tools, although it can be handy if you do have them. Once the other arm is attached, you can then use 4 of the bolts from the sort of bolts kit to attach the tilt mechanism to the seat base. It's just 4 bolts on each corner, just tighten them down well. Do make sure you have it in the right orientation though, as I've put it the wrong way around before and it's a bit of a pain to swap it back round. Then you can take the base and put it down onto the gas cylinder. The last step is just installing the seat back. You'll need to remove the 4 bolts that come pre-installed in the seat back and then place it between the 2 uprights on the seat base. The left-hand side one is free floating, whereas the right-hand side one is the one that controls your tilting mechanism. So when you go to install all of those 4 bolts, do make sure that the seat back is square to the seat base before you tighten them all down fully. Then you can install the plastic covers that go on the sides. It's just a single Phillips head screw or bolt to hold them in place, so it can be a bit fiddly, but once you get it in, that's the chair built. Features wise, the Hero model is quite possibly the best equipped version, which obviously has the standard height adjust with the gas cylinder, also has a multi-point adjustable base tilt in 4 different positions, along with the backrest that tilts in I think 10 or 11 different positions. It doesn't go all the way flat, but that's probably a good thing for stability and balance, and it has a decent enough range that you won't be missing out. You of course have their 4D adjustable armrests, which are really the sort of standard for the market at the moment. They adjust in both forward and backwards, twisting out and in. Both of those movements are done by pushing the button that's on the inboard side up at the front. You can also have the armrest slide inwards and outwards with a sort of inboard mounted stem button, and you can have them slide up and down with an outboard mounted stem button as well. All of that adjustment is fairly standard, but what's unique to the Hero is the knob that's on the right hand side of the seat. That controls the adjustable lumbar support that's built into the backrest. It ranges from basically perfectly flat, or at least following the contour of the chair, to a sizable bump that you'll definitely notice. For me personally, I like it in a more middle ground position, but it ratchets into place and it's adjustable however you like, so if you want to have it more flush at one point but nice and firm and supporting your back in another, you can just crank the knob over and it's all good. As for the new fabric, I really like it. It's a sort of, I would call, semi-coarse fabric in that it's not too soft or fluffy, but it's also not too harsh or itchy or irritating. It's a really nice balance and something that I found very comfortable and enjoyable to sit in. It's impressively both breathable for your comfort, but also fairly resistant. I tested dropping some water up at the front, and the majority of the water preferred to run off of the surface rather than get caught and soak in, and anything that did stay was easily wiped off, and then anything that did end up soaking in as I left it for a little while, that also dried up pretty quickly. In my testing with it, it seemed to do a pretty good job of both being a nice, comfortable, breathable fabric so you don't get too sort of hot and sweaty, but at the same time evaporating or disposing of those sorts of, let's say, liquids and odors that you may be depositing when using the chair. Only time will tell how well this will hold up to, everyday usage, but from my experience with the previous, or the faux leather model, and from feeling how thick the fabric is where it meets the base at the bottom, I'd say it has a pretty good chance of doing rather well. The Hero frame in general is a pretty nice option. It offers a remarkably flat while still comfortable and supportive base, where the side bolsters do rise slightly to give you a little bit of support on those edges. You don't want to roll off the edge, but they're also reasonably flat, so if you have wider hips and thighs like me, you're still plenty comfortable in it. The seat back has a very Recaro race seat look to it, with its fairly large side bolsters and winged sections up top. The side bolsters are pretty deep, but they're angled outwards and are already set pretty far apart, so even if you are wider in the midsection, you should still be able to fit in this with relative comfort and ease. Even the upper wing sections are relatively flat to allow for broad shoulders to fit in comfortably, and the top section is tall enough that even 6-foot me can still rest my head comfortably on that upper section. I'll include the specs on the screen for you to compare against your own measurements, but to give you some context, I'm 6 foot or 183 centimeters, around 90 kilograms, and have reasonably wide hips and shoulders, and I fit in this perfectly fine. If you are on the smaller or skinnier side, then you might want to consider the Icon model instead, as that might support you a little bit better. It's a little bit of a tighter shell, but if you're my sort of size or even bigger perhaps, I think you will fit just fine in this. I should also note that I also have arthritis in every joint in my body, and so for me, comfort and positioning is really very important, and I'm happy to say that the Hero has been doing a great job for the last 2 or 3 years since I've been using it, and this one is no different. Personally, I like to have the seat base reclined ever so slightly, as you see it here, to effectively hold me in the seat, support my lower thighs, and so that my feet can rest nicely on the ground. Then I can have the backrest moved to whatever position is comfortable at that point, as can I do with the lumbar support. The chair is nicely padded. I think it strikes a good balance between being firm and supportive with the foam underneath, but still having a little bit of give so that you're not feeling like you're sitting on a hard surface like those plastic chairs at school, but it's also not a soft sofa that you're sinking into. It supports you well while still being comfortable and a pleasant place to be. I know this is labelled as a gaming chair and lumped in with the gaming chair crowd, and to be fair, that is pretty much what it is. But there is one added benefit of getting a noblechairs over a number of the other models that are on the market, in fact the countless numbers of models, and that is that these actually come with office accreditations and are actually at least validated to be somewhat ergonomic, at least to the level that the standards and certifications are requiring. That's not to say that the number of other models that are on the market that honestly, if you took all of the badges off, look very similar, are anyway worse for you or not as good. It's just a key point that this actually has a DIN EN 1335 certification as an office chair, and even the standard Hero Black model comes with the, I think it's a BIFMA X 5.1 office chair certification and a TÜV-tested gas pressure spring. Again, basically what that means is that they're actually accredited for office use, so you could actually tell your boss to go and buy one of these instead of whatever, IKEA one you fancy, and they're at least somewhat verified as ergonomic and supportive and good for you. Personally, I am really happy with the Hero TX. I really like the new material. It's a much better fit for me personally, as I don't like, the backs of my arms sticking to the faux leather, especially when it's hot and sweaty, which again, since these are gaming chairs, that happens quite a lot. I'm also really happy with how little sort of sweat and nastiness is seemingly collecting in this. It's doing a good job of, rejecting all of that and just, while still being breathable. And only time will tell how well this will hold up compared to the standard faux leather model that I have. But again, from my experience, I think it should last you a fair while. They're still the same price as the standard faux leather model, like I said, which puts it around £365 here in the UK at Overclockers UK, which I'll leave an affiliate link to in the description down below if you do want to pick one of these up. And obviously, I know that that's not cheap. But if you put it in perspective that it is a piece of furniture essentially, one, that's already not too bad, and two, this is something that should last you multiple years and will be actively supporting you and keeping you comfortable throughout that time. And at least for me personally, I really like having these, and I do think that it's worth the money. But with that said, those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think of the Hero TX and their fabric line? Is it one you would pick up yourself, or would you prefer the leather or faux leather options, or do you just have something completely different in mind? Feel free to let me know in those comments down below. Like I said, I will be leaving a link to this in the description you can check out. That is an Overclockers UK affiliate link that you can check out and maybe pick one up yourself, or just check out the range if you prefer. And if you want to stay up to date on these videos, you can do that by hitting that subscribe button and turning the bell notification icon on. I have a whole load of other videos that come out every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so do stay tuned. If you want to support the channel in more ways than just using the affiliate links like the one to this one or the rest of them that are in the description, you can do that directly by using the YouTube join button to get access to our Money Men Discord chat, sponsored review videos, and a few emojis to use in the comments and on our weekly live streams. Or you could support directly on Patreon instead if you'd prefer, or maybe pick up a hoodie or t-shirt like this one. This is the everyday tech design I did in Photoshop, but I got some cool ones I did in Blender as well. Or, like I said, a load of affiliate links in the description you can check out too. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Do feel free to check out some more videos on the end cards, maybe the rest of the chairs playlists that I've reviewed. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next video.